News 4 Jackson, 6 o'clock, and a police briefing on a double shooting in Arlington.
Okay, Lieutenant Ricky Valentine, R-I-C-K-I-E, Valentine, just like Valentine's Day. All right, today at approximately 1:40 p.m., officers were called to the 8100 block of Alderman Road in reference to an individual who had been shot. While officers were en route, we were informed that 2 individuals had actually been shot and that they were being placed inside vehicles and being transported to the hospital. One of the individuals was stopped, or a JFRD, the ambulance was stopped, and one of the individuals was placed in that and transported to the hospital. At that moment, once they got there, one of the individuals is in critical condition. The second individual was treated and released, is now downtown being interviewed by detectives. While en route, officers received information of a suspect vehicle, and additional officers located a suspicious vehicle or suspect vehicle matching that description in a apartment complex in the 800 block of Alderman Road. Upon trying to make contact with several individuals there, a foot chase ensued, and 3 individuals were subsequently detained. One of the individuals was later determined to also have a gunshot wound and was transported to Shands and is also being treated at this time. So to recap, we have 1 individual who's in critical condition, 1 individual who's been treated and released, and 1 that's also now being treated as we speak. We have investigators on scene at the 8100 block of Alderman Road and the 800 block of Alderman Road, the 2 different scenes, checking for evidence, witness statements, and trying to find out exactly what has occurred at this time.
We're hearing that yesterday's fight could be tied to this shooting. Is that the case? It was a 2 feuds between Terry Parker High School and another high school?
I'm familiar with that. I was on scene on that yesterday. I've spoken to the detectives about that. We haven't gotten all that information yet. Like I said, this is still early. Because of having several different scenes, there's a lot of confusion. We're still trying to get those people to be able to discuss that with us. That is one of the angles that I've informed the detectives that they're going to be looking at, but we can't confirm that information as of yet.
Gang related at all? Gang related?
No, we're not hearing no one has mentioned anything about a gang at this time.
Can you confirm what was the deal with the light blue car that was out here and also with the scene that's over here right now? I understand that one of the victims was found at this apartment complex here as well.
One of the victims, yes, that was involved in a vehicle that was leaving the scene, and it was later determined that he did sustain a gunshot wound, and he was later transported to the hospital. The vehicle that was out here, we were given a secondary vehicle that, like I said, one of the vehicles that loaded up someone and brought them, we were told that matched that description. So we stopped that vehicle and checked that vehicle out. Everything was checked out by the detectives at this time. They're satisfied with their investigation on that. That vehicle was released from this scene.
Have you recovered any weapons?
At this time, not that I'm aware of. So I know the investigators, because of the scene integrity, I've not been able to get completely into that scene, but I know that there's some areas that they are checking. We do have the dive team out in reference to the area itself, just for any other type of evidence of value because of the 2 different scenes and a large area.
So you have not recovered any weapons?
At this time, no.
The Arlington Eagle apartment is also blocked off. What's going on in that apartment complex right now?
That's where a vehicle matching the description that was leaving the scene of the 8100 block of Alderman Road was located by officers who were en route to that. There was individuals who were leaving from that vehicle that were contacted. At this time, I can't say if they're suspects or victims. We do know that all those individuals that were in that vehicle were transported downtown, except for one who has a gunshot wound, and he was transported to the hospital for medical attention.
Any persons of interest right now?
Everyone we've got detained at this time. At this time, we have 1 person at the hospital that's in critical, 1 person who is receiving medical attention for a gunshot wound, 1 who's been released. He's been downtown for interview. 2 other individuals who were in the vehicle here just to ensure whether or not they were involved as well.
Does it appear they were involved?
The information, I don't have that information yet because they are downtown. The investigators have to go through that process. So until we can get all those interviews done with this many people, we're not going to be able to say that yet.
What about the ages? How old are they?
Was shot in the head. Is that true? The teen that was in critical condition?
I haven't received any information of an individual that was shot in the head. Like I said, critical, I don't know where the gunshot wounds were.
Is this any kind of retaliation from previous shootings?
I'm not being told anything from yesterday. Like I said, like he asked, the only thing that we heard is, or in reference to the close proximity of yesterday's fight is for investigators to understand, to look at that, but there's been no confirmation. We're not going to be able to get all this until we actually get down and sit down with these interviews.
What about the ages? How about the ages of these kids?
I'm being told mid to late teens. Of everyone involved, mid to late teens.
We're here in Terry Parks, Lone Star High Schoolers.
I've not confirmed that anyone is a student at any school at this time.
Talk about how confusing it is with so many crime scenes, because I know when we rolled up, there was like at least 4 or 5 different scenes you guys.
It's very confusing. You know, we've got officers going from different directions, and, you know, our first priority is to find out who shot. And we want to get them medical attention as quick as possible. We have to get that scene contained so we can get the fire rescue department in there, because they're not going to go in if there's individuals who are out with guns and shooting. So we have to get that scene contained as quick as we can. And then from there, we have to maintain scene integrity, because you've had some type of chaos that has occurred. So we need to make sure that we have evidence protection. We have to get witnesses that were on scene, grab as many individuals as we can, any type of canvases, check for cameras, check for everything that we can, and that's what we do. With that being said, and now we're being told that a vehicle leaves the scene, that changes to 2 scenes, and then we've got a 3rd vehicle that's now being said that matches a possible that was transporting a victim. Well, now that's a 3rd scene, which was this scene out here, and subsequently at Shands is our 4th scene. So we've got 4 different scenes, which is, at that time, it's manpower intensive, but we have to get all the information. Unfortunately, being able to get with you guys, we'd love to be able to give you more information, but it's now taking that time to slow down, get all the interviews absolutely set up for proper prosecution for anyone who is validated to be a suspect.
Is there any indication that more than one gun was used?
Right now, is the lake a part of evidence or a weapon found there?
We're searching out for investigative purposes, because it's a retention pond, because how adjacent it was to that particular scene. Once again, we just want to make sure that we didn't miss anything over there.
Is there any indication that more than one gun was used from what you guys been able to see in terms of shell casings?
From my understanding is yes. I don't know how many. I wasn't able to speak to the crime scene detective at that scene, but there was multiple casings. I did see the markings on the ground, so there was more than one weapon. I don't know the calibers or types.
Were there witnesses at this shooting that may have saw the shooting happen? We were told that several witnesses saw somebody standing in the parking lot early this morning. Were there witnesses at the shooting at all?
We do have individuals who live in the apartment complex. We have some that have come forward to us and some that have wanted to speak to us in private that are giving us very valuable information. And that's the part of our process is we have to be able to make contact with the residents there and find out, because no one's going to stand outside when people are shooting. We understand that. So they're going to go inside or they're going to leave, and then we get that information out. That's why it's very important we push 1866 Crime Stoppers. We need these individuals. Anyone who has seen this, we understand they're getting away from that. They're taking their lives, taking it out of danger. We completely understand it. So we need them to call us. Any information they have, get through the sheriff's office or the Crime Stoppers and give us the information they have. But we do have numerous witnesses that are cooperating. The community has been very good to us today. It's that partnership that we have with them.
Just to confirm, 3 victims, 2 people of interest that are being questioned.
3 victims, and as of now, 4 individuals who are being interviewed outside of the individuals who were shot. Yes.
So is it 7 people altogether, or?
To include victims, yes. Yes, 7 people total. 2 of the individuals are from a vehicle. We're not, like I said, I'm not going to call them a person of interest, but everyone at this time is going to be interviewed. The investigation has to take its toll for us to be able to find that information out.
Now, real quick, it sounds like gunfire just at one of the scenes, 8100 Alderman Road, is that correct?
Correct. We do not have any other scenes where any other gunshots were fired. The other scenes were vehicles that left or any type of subsequent information, but no shots other than that particular address.
Now, we've heard from one resident at that complex who said she heard about 9 shots. How many casings have been recovered so far?
Like I said, I saw the placards. I didn't count, but there's multiple.
Is it more than 10?
I don't want to speculate, because speculation at that time, I'm just being incorrect to you, and I don't want to do that. Like I said, there's multiple.
And now, just briefly circling back, you mentioned that one of the victims was en route to the hospital or was being taken away from the scene and then was placed in an ambulance.
That's what we were informed of at this time. The investigators are still working through that, but we do know that the individual, at least one individual, was transported by JFRD. And then we have the third one, which was from the 800 block of Alderman Road, where he was discovered there. He was transported by ambulance as well.
The individual who's in critical condition, do we know if he was shot multiple times?
From my understanding, yes.
Because from what I'm hearing, he was shot once at least before he was on the ground, and then more times once he was on the ground.
The information you got, whoever gave you that information, I asked them at this time to please make sure they contact our investigators. Because that's pertinent information. It's not information at this time as a watch commander. I'm not going to have that information. I'm not the lead investigator, but we do need that information from them. It's that key little piece that whatever that they say to you guys, we need them to tell us too, because those investigators need it. They're going through a lot. I mean, 7 people, 2, 3, 4 different crime scenes with multiple people shot. We need to do what the community has been very good today about doing, which is contacting us, giving us the information we need to be able to piece together what all occurred today, right, which is senseless violence, and we understand that. But we have to be able to get all this together.
One more question for you. You mentioned senseless violence. A lot of this is coming from juveniles. Your thoughts on the juvenile shootings that's been happening lately here in Jacksonville?
It's happening all over the country. Well, what we're having right now is individuals that are empowered because they put something like a firearm in their hand. They got to understand the consequences. That's why we're working with our pastors. We're working with the community itself. We're trying to get everyone together to explain that this is not a video game. Taking a person's life, it's not going to reset tomorrow. And that's why our Sheriff Williams has pushed the issues to reach back to the community and bring everyone together. We can't do this by ourselves. As a force multiplier, which is you guys, the media, putting the information out, getting our citizens back together, our sheriff's watches, our community meetings, getting the people in the neighborhood and apartment complexes to assist with us, that's what we need. Like everyone has paid attention to is the education, getting in the schools, giving these kids more things to do. Those programs are working. We need buy-ins from the young individuals. That's what we need.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is there any threat to the general public?
No, at this time, there's nothing to, there's no indicators to say that anybody that we do not have either detained or in custody that we need to speak to at this time. So there's nothing that says this is a random act of violence.
Is there anything or any reason to suggest that the individuals in critical condition was targeted today?
Not at this time, not that I can say. Not without further investigation from the detectives.
Thank you very much.
Lieutenant, the Sheriff put together about a year ago a violent crimes task force, I believe it was last April.
Yes.
Are they involved, or how is their involvement of that task force coming together to help work on these type of crimes?
The Violent Crimes Task Force concentrates on individuals who are especially gang-related, and that's what they're working on. If they can take an individual that we know are associated with any type of gangs, we're working with the state attorney's office and, like I said, the pastors, the community, and moving forward when it comes to stricter prosecution on these individuals. We're getting great results. The mayor has put the money out there for us. The sheriff has put in the resources for it. You know, obviously we're moving forward with it. We don't have a crystal ball, but, you know, everyone's doing their part. We just have to get to an ending point on it. We understand we're kind of catching up from a long time of doing this, and we're trying to get to an ending point and understand the violence has got to stop. You know, we can't have one person shot and then from there they want to retaliate against someone else. It doesn't work that way. It truly doesn't. And that's where we get our pastors involved, and they explain to these young men, you know, this is what the violence has to stop. I mean, we continue with the programs. We need those individuals involved, and we need the parents involved, and we're getting very good buy-in.
So if this is gang-related, then that task force would be involved in the investigations?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They connect any of the dots on that, then it'll be funneled over to the appropriate investigators, and they will move forward on that. Obviously, any type of information that we can get can foreshadow or maybe step in front of and stop any of that future violence. That's what we want to do.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
Just want to confirm to you.
All right. You just heard from Lieutenant Ricky Valentine, who pretty much gave us an update on what we now know. So what we now can confirm, 3 victims, 1 who is in critical condition, 2 we don't really have know what their condition are, but we do know they suffered non-life-threatening injuries, and there is at least 4 people that they're going to be interviewing in addition to those victims. So again, it's a very fluid situation. Hope to have more information as it becomes available. Back to you.